My best friend betrayed me and my girlfriend chose him. After he tried to hurt me, I'm left struggling to pick up the pieces and move on. My girlfriend cheated on me with my best friend at a friend's gathering. He beat me half to death. My closest friend attempted to harm me because he harbors feelings for my longtime girlfriend. I'm Michael, 31, and Ethan, 30, has been my friend since we were 18. We connected over our shared career aspirations. After years of setbacks and numerous rejections, my career finally began to flourish over the past 3 years, whereas Ethan's did not. Throughout this time, I've dedicated significant effort to support him, offering encouragement and assistance. We even shared an apartment from ages 23 to 25, splitting everything equally. Roughly a year ago, his demeanor towards me shifted. He began mocking me, making belittling and disparaging comments. Typically, I'm an optimistic person, and initially shrugged it off, thinking he was just envious and going through a tough period. I empathized with his struggles, recognizing the competitive nature of our field, filled with rejections, and how difficult it must be to watch a friend achieve the success you've long desired. Then there's my former girlfriend, Loli, 30, for over 6 years. I believe we had an ideal relationship, excellent communication, a healthy sex life, and unwavering support throughout my challenging career journey. I tend to be quite open and enjoyed discussing everything with her. We had no secrets, or so I thought. I always made an effort to keep our relationship lively and exciting, planning weekly date nights, surprising her with gifts and trips, trying new activities together like cooking and dance classes. I cherished sharing experiences with her, engaging in her hobbies, and ensuring she knew she was my top priority. I believe she reciprocated those feelings. Even as my career advanced, I made sure not to neglect her or my friends, maintaining a balance between work and personal life. Last week, we were all at our friend's place, Josh and Mia, 31, who had recently bought a house. We were sitting in their backyard, drinking with Chris, 28, and Anna, 31. Our friend group has been close for 8 years. Ethan got drunk quickly and spent the evening taking jabs at me. After a year of this, I finally had enough and confronted him, which led to an argument. I mentioned that his behavior stemmed from jealousy over my recent success and that it's not my fault he hasn't succeeded. I also reminded him of all the support I've given to help him get opportunities. Suddenly, he attacked me. We pushed each other, but he managed to knock me down and kick me in the ribs several times. Then he tried to stomp on my head. Fortunately, he didn't fully connect. His foot grazed my cheek, leaving it swollen. He attempted it again, but I moved just in time, narrowly avoiding a potentially fatal blow. The others intervened, and I got up, shouting at him. He seemed to walk away, but then picked up a wooden plank Josh and Mia were working on their fence and shed in the garden. Ethan lunged at me again, swinging the plank towards my head. I ducked and raised my arm, taking the blow on my elbow. Again, he could have killed me. Within seconds, he almost struck Anna with his wild swing. Chaos erupted, and Josh and Chris tackled him, beating him severely in their rage. The girls managed to pull them off Ethan, and everyone realized the gravity of the situation. Ethan sat up, and Lily went to his side. His face was bloody, but he, Ethan, didn't lose consciousness. Katie ended up driving Ethan to the hospital and came back in the morning. Ethan had a broken nose and a slight concussion, and she dropped him off at his parents' place. She said Ethan didn't really talk to her, explain himself, or even apologize. None of us really slept that night, and honestly after that, things are a bit blurry to me, probably a mix of alcohol, shock and adrenaline from the worst night of my life. But it just got worse. You might have noticed I haven't mentioned Lily for a while. We were sitting around, and Josh said something like Ethan deserved worse than a broken nose for trying to kill me twice and almost hurting Anna. Then Lily, who had been quiet, suddenly snapped and defended Ethan, saying he doesn't deserve any of this, and that he has just been having a hard time. Josh and Lily almost ended up in a screaming match before Lily stormed off. I followed her, thinking we were all in shock and sleep-deprived, and planned to comfort her. I found her in the guest room crying. I told her I understood we were all in shock, and maybe we should just try to get some sleep. She didn't even look at me, and suddenly I realized that Ethan and Lily were sitting next to each other the previous evening. It wasn't the first time. When Ethan was screaming at me, Lily was by his side, hugging his arm, pleading with him to take a walk with her and calm down, pleading with Ethan, not me. After Ethan kicked me, stomped on me, and swung a plank at me, her attention was still on calming him down while I lay there in pain. She didn't check on me when the guys were beating Ethan. She was screaming and hysterical, trying to pull them off him. I don't even remember her asking me once if I was okay all night, so I asked her, "Are you cheating on me with Ethan?" She just started crying hysterically, repeating that she never intended for it to go this far, and I got my answer. I just lost it and started yelling at her, asking what was going on and how she could do this. The others came in, and the guys took me to another room and tried to calm me down. Jane and Katie ended up driving Lily to her parents, and Jane stayed with her because they were worried about her. All the car rides, she cried so much she couldn't speak. When they got to her parents, Jane and Lily's dad had to help her up the stairs and into bed as she could barely stand, still hysterical. The only thing she managed to say or scream, according to them, was that she had ruined everything. Jane stayed because her parents were worried sick and had never seen her like this. Jane and Katie told them what had happened with Ethan and me, and it seemed to stem from Ethan and Lily's affair. 5 days passed, and I was in so much physical and emotional pain, just so angry and confused. My elbow had a fracture, I had a couple of bruised ribs, and the right side of my face was swollen. The night kept replaying in my head. I sent Lily some texts asking for an explanation, but she didn't answer. Then this morning, I got a call from my former mother-in-law. Bless their hearts, my former in-laws are amazing people who have always been kind to me and have helped me a lot these past years. She was very apologetic for her daughter and very understanding. Then she said that Lily wanted to see me and talk and asked if I could come over, which I agreed to. I arrived, and they said they would wait outside in their car to give us space, but because of Lily's state, they didn't want to leave the premises. When I walked in and saw Lily, it was a roller coaster of emotion, anger, and bitterness. Then I felt sorry for her and just wanted to hug her. She looked awful, like a mental patient who hadn't eaten, showered, or slept since that night. I just felt so bad seeing her like that. I had to restrain myself from running over and taking her in my arms, so I just sat down facing her. She said I could ask her anything, and that she would be honest, repeatedly saying how sorry she was, and how she had ruined everyone's lives. I'm not going to go into too many details as this is long enough, but basically, a year ago, Ethan confessed his love for Lily, and had been very persistent since then. She said she made it clear it wasn't mutual. I asked why she didn't come to me, and she said she didn't want to ruin our friendship and wanted to fix things herself. In the past few months, he had become more aggressive, asking her to leave me for him. I asked if anything had happened between them. She admitted they kissed twice, with Ethan initiating both times, but she stopped it. They also cuddled once while watching a movie, during which Ethan tried to initiate sex, and she left, setting clear boundaries. I asked why she kept seeing him alone if he was constantly trying to kiss her and get her into bed. She said he always promised he wouldn't do it again. I asked why she didn't cut contact, why she kept answering his DMs, kept meeting him, giving him false hope and leading him on. Did she like his attention? Then she said the strangest thing, that she felt bad for him, felt sorry for him, felt protective of him, like she was his big sister. WTF. She felt the need to help him get over her. She even set him up on a date with a friend, which he sabotaged by being a jerk to the girl. I asked her if she was stupid if she was telling the truth. She did nothing but keep his hope and crush for her alive by giving him all her time. She started crying and doubled down on having a sister-brother relationship with him, wanting to fix everything, saying he was just having a hard time and she wanted to help him get on his feet again, but he kept getting more persistent and started talking badly about me, saying I didn't deserve her. She said she regretted everything, admitting she was stupid and had ruined everything, dealing with everything in the worst way possible, but she did it in good faith, not realizing she was just making things worse. Then I asked her if she had any contact with him since that night, and she took an awkward pause before bursting into tears and saying yes. That just destroyed me completely. This man had been trying to get with her for over a year, tried to kill me, and I waited 5 days for her to answer me, only for her mother to call me on her behalf. Meanwhile, she had been texting with him. I couldn't answer. I just felt like hurting her emotionally, not physically, so I decided to get up and go. She pleaded with me, offering to show me the texts, saying she just checked if he was okay, and then told him it was over and to stop contacting her. But for me, she made her choice. I was in the worst pain of my life these last 5 days because of them, and she still chose to continue talking to him while I was on my own. I walked out, with her following me and pleading. Her mom and dad got out of the car and asked if everything was all right, and I just lost it. I yelled that their daughter had ruined my life, how she could choose the man who tried to stomp on my face over me. I was so angry I couldn't even drive, so I just started walking away. I don't know how long I was walking, but my ex-father-in-law drove up next to me and told me to get in, which I did, expecting him to yell at me or tell me off. But bless his heart, he just drove me home. We didn't talk all the way, but when he stopped outside my place, he put his hand on my shoulder. I couldn't even look him in the face after what I said to them. Lily did text me a screenshot of their texts, which seemed to prove what she said, that she only checked if he was okay, and then told him she couldn't keep him in her life, and that she would never forgive him for attacking me. She also sent more screenshots of their previous chats, mostly of her telling him to stop, that she didn't have feelings for him, and of her rejecting his advances. But as they had been talking for over a year, I guess she could cherry-pick parts of the conversations that look in her favor and leave other parts out. I have not responded yet, and I don't think I ever will. I will block her, but for some reason I just can't yet. Now I'm here, just getting this all out of me. I feel so betrayed, angry, and horrible. I want to hurt Lily and Ethan so badly, not in a violent way, just emotionally, to make them feel the pain I'm feeling. I know that's not a healthy way to feel or a healthy thing to do, so I hope just writing this out, even if no one reads it, will help me start to process what the hell has happened. How my life went from feeling perfect to feeling like I will never feel good again. I feel like this pain will never go away. How on earth can someone heal from this? I feel like I lost everything. The people I used to love with all my heart, I now feel nothing but hatred for. Lily said she didn't cheat and didn't have sex with Ethan, which I doubt because I'm not stupid. Even if they didn't have sex, she still betrayed me on so many levels, as did Ethan. I don't think I will ever forgive them. I don't feel like I will ever get to a place where I would even consider trying to. So to anyone who has ever been through a betrayal like this, from partners or friends or both, what is my next step? How can I begin the process to stop thinking about this and start trying to live my life again? Update. So I haven't felt the need to update until now because I kind of need advice again, or just reassurance on what to do. Since so many have asked for an update on the whole situation, I will try, but going into too many details will make this far too long. The situation I need advice on is in the bottom paragraphs. Sorry this is so long again, I didn't mean to, but when I started writing, I just felt the need to get everything on my mind out. Everyone told me to press charges against Ethan. I don't know, maybe many of you are Americans with too much belief in the justice system, or have watched too many TV shows about lawyers. It doesn't work that way, at least not in my country. I talked to 2 lawyers and the outcome was that I could press charges, but Ethan going to jail is highly unlikely. The most likely outcome is that he has to pay for the trial and pay me a settlement. It might be a large fee or a small fee, because I wasn't seriously hurt and had no long-lasting damages. My friends could testify to the severity of his assault, but the judge will most likely rule based on the damage that was done. He might get probation but not jail. So yeah, I could maybe ruin him financially, but then he could press charges against Tom and Chris, and there's a bigger possibility they would end up worse from that case than Ethan would from mine, as they did break his nose and give him a concussion. With a decent lawyer, he could make it out as having lasting physical effects from it. This could become months or even years of dealing with this, and I just want it over with. His reputation has suffered, he lost some friends, and some said they would stay neutral. His older brother told me that he and his parents have expressed their disappointment in him, but aren't disowning him, but his younger sister took it really hard. She used to joke that she considered me her older brother at Ethan's expense lightheartedly. The joke was not cruel. She also looked up to Lily, so she took it hard and has refused to talk to Ethan. He did send me a long apology letter, but he never mentioned Lily, only his behavior towards me during the assault. It was sincere but not heartfelt. He owned up to a lot of things, but blamed some on his mental health. I have not responded and will not. Jane and Katie, some of you suggested after I commented, told me that Ethan might have been abusive to Lily, that they might know more than they let on, or were sticking by her. So I kind of played dumb talking about how I couldn't believe I didn't see the signs if they saw the signs. Yes, they knew about Ethan kissing Lily, but claimed they didn't know the extent of it, just that Ethan and Lily were spending time together, and Lily told them he kissed her, but she dealt with the problem. I didn't really believe that was all they knew, as Jane got very defensive when I confronted her more about this. That had a domino effect as Josh got mad at her for keeping it a secret and wondered what else she might be hiding. In his mind, if she could keep a secret like that, what else could she keep secret about? So that has caused some strain in their relationship. I'm staying out of it, but told Josh not to get angry at her on my behalf. Kate did come to my home and asked to talk. She said she genuinely didn't know, she just kind of walked in on the kissing conversation and Jane and Lily downplayed it. Later, when asking Jane, she told her that Lily had dealt with it. She swore she took it as if she had told me and had no idea what else was going on. I do believe her. She seemed very genuine and apologetic, unlike Jane. I don't hate Jane or resent her, but I'm disappointed and frustrated, so I've kind of been no contact with her these last weeks as I just feel no interest in being around her, which has slightly affected my friendship with Josh as I've been hanging out with other people instead. As for Lily, where to begin? Many of you said go no contact, but I know myself it would have driven me insane not being able to get everything off my chest and find some sort of conclusion to what the hell happened. One person messaged me saying that he was raised to face his problems in person, and that resonated better with me than going no contact, though I plan to do that after meeting her again. I also had to apologize to her parents and get my car as it was still at their place. So 4 days after the incident, I called them, asked if I could come by, talk to them, and if they would let me speak with Lily again. They actually were relieved. Part of me thinks they thought I was planning to forgive her or something, so I went there. We talked, I apologized. They said they were disappointed and shocked at me for yelling those hurtful things, but understood that I was going through a lot of emotions and in a bad place. Then we hugged. They went outside again and I went into the living room where Lily waited for me. She walked towards me with the saddest face I've ever seen and asked for a hug, but I said no and asked her to sit down to talk. I asked her to tell me everything again and asked if he was in any way abusive as Jane and Katie implied. She gave me the same version as last time, but with some additions. She said she didn't fully realize at the time, she just felt this situation was her responsibility to fix. But the reason she couldn't do it, or come clean, was Ethan. He threatened her with telling me himself that they kissed, that they were in love, that she was cheating on me when she tried to cut communication with him. He said these things would ruin our relationship and the friendship between Ethan and me, that I would believe him and not her. So she felt trapped in dealing with this on her own. I asked if he was physically abusive. She kind of hesitated, and said not really, but on 2 occasions he did hurt her, not badly, but to the point of pain. One time at an event, we were all together, he got her alone and asked her if she really didn't love him. She said no and told him not to do this there and tried to walk away, but he grabbed her wrists and wouldn't let go, dragging her closer and hurting her wrists. I remember that night and noticed halfway through the event, Lily went quiet and distracted but told me she was just tired. The second time was similar, but they were alone, and he grabbed her bicep and squeezed, leaving bruises. I don't remember seeing any bruises on her. I would have noticed and asked about them. Maybe she hit them. I also asked if it really wasn't sexual, that his intentions were obvious and why she kept putting herself in that position. She just said she didn't know that she was being stupid, but they never had sex. I asked why he had so much power over her that she couldn't find the strength to just tell me the truth for a year, and why she believed I would trust his words over hers. Again, she said she didn't know, that she just kept making mistakes. I asked why she ignored me after Ethan attacked me, but not him. She just started crying and kept saying she didn't know why, that she thought our relationship was stronger than that, and we would bounce back, and she was worried about what Ethan would do. I said that was the reason that hurt me the most, that she was too busy worrying about him and not about me. That to me, she chose him. She insisted she didn't choose him, but I stood firm that it felt like she did. Then I explained how much she and they had hurt me, that all the trust was gone, and that we were done, and I would have no contact with them. She asked if there was a point in the future we could be in each other's lives, and I said no. But it was eating me away, as there were so many things I doubted in her story. So I reached out to Sarah, Loli's best friend, and said that I was just destroyed and felt like nobody around me was telling the truth, and begged her to be honest. To my surprise, she answered. It appears she knew a lot, but Lily kept her out of the loop with many things. She knew about Ethan, and had told Lily to stop talking to him and to tell me about his behavior. She knew about them kissing, and that Lily regretted it, and was the one who stopped it from going further. She told me that, to begin with, Lily felt validated by helping Ethan. She used to like the dynamic in our relationship where I needed her support when my career was struggling and full of rejections, not that I was constantly crying on her shoulder or relying on her money. But on many occasions she was my support system, the one who cheered me up, hugged me, cuddled, motivated me, made me believe in myself, and kept me going. When my career took off, she felt that dynamic was missing. But then Ethan was in the position I was in, and she could give her support to him and feel that validation again. I was just baffled. Sarah said she was too when Lily told her. I asked if she felt validated by the sexual attraction from Ethan. Sarah said Lily never really talked about that, but as a girl herself, and knowing Lily for 30 years, she suspected that was a part of it too. Then I asked, as I'd been fearing I might have been delusional about being a good boyfriend, if Lily ever talked bad about me, if maybe I did something to drive her into Ethan's arms. Sarah said not really, that Lily always sounded very much in love, and often talked about how happy she was with me. Happy she was, how I made her feel special, to the point where Sarah was almost jealous on a few occasions. Lily did call me overbearing, clingy, and said I would sometimes shut down and be selfish, but never anything worse than that. Since then, I kind of think Sarah has been flirting with me. She texts me every day, at first just asking how my day was or how I was feeling, then sending memes, and eventually memes that are kind of sexual. But I have no interest in anything with her, so I guess I will have to shut that down. I don't want her thinking I'm leading her on. I'm just trying to come to terms with all of this, trying to move on. Then about 8 to 9 days back, I get a text from Lily. I had blocked her on all apps and social media. We always communicated with those, but rarely with our phone numbers, so it genuinely slipped my mind, or maybe subconsciously I didn't block her there. The message just said, "How have you been?" followed by her saying she smiled and laughed again for the first time because of me, along with a photo of me on her TV, saying how proud she is of me, and that she looks forward to seeing my career progress. I work in the entertainment industry. My big break early last year was a job behind the scenes, which progressed to me getting in front of the camera. I'm by no means famous, it's just a little show, although growing in audience and popularity since we began, not on the main channel or anything. I made the mistake of responding, and we chatted for 2 days, not about us, but about some political issues in the country. I kept my distance still. If she texted, I'd just wait until I was in the mood to answer, or finished what I was doing first. Then she asked if I could find it in my heart to let her in my life again, if only in a small way, in the future. I said I needed more time, but it was unlikely. I told her I couldn't keep doing this for my mental health, said goodbye and blocked her again. I thought this was over, but then last Friday night around midnight, I got a knock on my door, and lo and behold, there stood Lily, soaking wet in the rain like some freaking scene in a movie. I asked what the hell she was doing here. She said she was out drinking and wanted to see me, but got cold feet as soon as she left the taxi and stood by the road for 10 minutes, but was too cold to wait for another taxi now. So I let her in, gave her some old sweatpants, a t-shirt, and a hoodie of mine, and gave her a bag to put her wet clothes in. The story is that her girlfriends pressured her to go on a girls' night out, but she didn't feel ready, but she went anyway. They were drinking, and she got her favorite cocktail from when we were together. When out on our own, we used to have this thing where we would message each other all night with funny things that happened, inside jokes about situations, or just send pics of our drinks. The fancier, the better. We were that annoying couple, yes, always on our phone talking when separated. She instinctively reached for her phone to send me a pic, but then realized she could never do that again, and felt a wave of sadness. She drank some more, and then, after telling her friends she didn't want to meet or talk to men, they invited some guys over and told one of them Lily was single. He was flirting and trying to get her attention, and her friends kept creating situations to leave them alone together. She had enough. She also told me that the guy was boring, uninteresting, and pathetic and ugly. Lily rarely talks like this about people, which brings me to this point. I know sober Lily, tipsy drunk Lily, and very drunk Lily. She seemed to be in the tipsy drunk state, but usually she's very giggly and bubbly. But now she was completely cold and distant, never looking me in the eye. When I met her, she looked at me with such sorrow and regret, almost speaking in a monotone. Never had I seen Lily like this. It was as if she were a different person. I was tired and felt weirded out. My mind went kind of blank. She just sat there, not saying a word. I went on the taxi app and ordered her another taxi, but after 15 minutes the app said it was still searching for a taxi. I thought, screw this, and offered to drive her home as I didn't think her staying over was a good idea and suspected that might be her agenda. She just got her things and went to my car without any protest or saying anything in general. In the car, the mood was still weird. She asked to choose the music and I said yes. She asked to hold my hand while we drove for one last time. Stupid me said yes. Then she just sat there, looking out the window, never looking at me. This attitude kind of disarmed me. My mind was blank. In a lame attempt to lighten the mood, I joked about driving her back to her friends and asked if that pathetic guy was still there. She just shrugged and said she was done with men forever. All they did was abuse her trust, manipulate her emotions and goodwill, and put her in lose-lose situations. I didn't know if that was a stab at me, Ethan, or both. I asked her why she said that, and she shrugged again and said it seriously. She also told me Ethan sent her a letter asking her to move with him to another country, but she threw it out. Then we just drove in silence. When we approached her parents' home, I felt her squeeze my hand like she didn't want to let go. When I stopped the car, she said nothing, just got out without looking at me and went inside. When I got back home, I of course found her underwear in my bathroom, placed beside the laundry basket where clothes would often fall. My common sense says she left them on purpose. She knows that's where clothes sometimes fall, but they do fall there naturally, so it's just another thing for me to overthink and doubt. Now I've got her underwear and she's got my clothes, which is a reason to see each other again. I was so confused and a little scared for Lily in the state. I even wondered if she was on drugs that night because she was so unlike herself. I'm debating if I should ask Sarah about it, but I shouldn't put her in that position and pull an Ethan on her. I'm also that naive that I unblocked Lily on everything, because I genuinely thought she would reach out with an apology for showing up drunk at my place. The old Lily would have. I also noticed she changed her Instagram a lot, removed her bio, deleted almost every picture she had, this cute and quirky feed. She kept 2 old pictures of her, deleted all the pictures with other people, and kept one picture of us together from a holiday 2 years ago that we both cherished as the most fun time in our lives. I felt like I was making a tiny bit of progress, but now I can't stop thinking about her again. The truth is, I really miss Lily so much. She really is a one-of-a-kind person. I've always realized how lucky I have been to have her in my life. As much as I've hated her, and resented this past month, seeing her on Friday, and remembering how she cried at her parents' house made me feel something. It made me feel good or content, thinking about her hurting from her decisions and destroying her life with Ethan. I felt like she deserved it for making me hurt so much. But now I feel some resentment, and I'm more worried and afraid for her. I admit when she squeezed my hand in the car, I got a tingle of butterflies in my stomach thinking about it and our time together. I don't want her to self-destruct or feel bad or guilty for the rest of her life. We are only human. We make mistakes. I'm inclined to believe that Ethan was abusive, which makes me actually want to press charges to punish him for what he did to Lily. She felt stuck dealing with this herself because of his threats and fear of losing everything. But then again, she did console him, and not me when things came to a head. I keep going in circles, and I feel her visit on Friday was a little manipulative, showing up soaking wet, leaving her underwear, acting so weird. But then for a few minutes, I feel like not caring about that and only wanting to have her in my life as a partner again. So I'm thinking in circles, go no contact and try to be strong, reach out to her for an honest all on the table talk, maybe try to work on things and see if we can move forward, or just be the bigger person and meet her to end things in a way that relieves her of her guilt, so she won't beat herself up about this or regret her whole life, even if it means me lying or downplaying something, so I can stop worrying about her. As you can see, fellow Redditors, I'm so very confused and clueless right now, hoping like last time, someone will come along with advice that will help me see the right way forward.